The 20th century was the age of the brand, and the Olympics have been no exception. The classic Olympic logo, designed by Baron Pierre de Coubertin in the 1920s, is now accompanied by a frenzy of visual signage. Trademark, posters, flags, ridiculous mascots like Catchy the Sasquatch, Suki the Snowlet, Izzy the What's-It, whatever that was, and finally, pictograms. These little symbols for individual sports, reminiscent of airport restroom signs, were first used in the German Games of 1936. They became standard after the Tokyo Olympiad in 1964. Since then, designers have attempted to update the icons with varying degrees of success. A few exceptional designs have drawn praise from critics and historians for years. Lance Wyman's op art-inspired icons for the 1968 Mexico City Olympics injected a hippie psychedelic feel into the proceedings, an arguably drug-inspired look that suited the tenor of the times. These were matched only by the optical wizardry of Roger Excafon's icons for the Grenoble Olympics that same year, which used graphic scan lines, like those on Saul Bass's famous AT&T logo, to suggest the element of speed. 4 years later, Otto Locher's classic pictograms for the Munich Games defined the genre. They were smart and elegant, conservative perhaps, but appropriately German in their functional clarity. For the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, the firm Sussman Praja made a spectacular graphic circus. The pictograms appeared on hot pink and orange, spangled with turquoise stars, red, white, and blue translated into the language of MTV. Apart from these, few pictographic schemes have distinguished themselves. The icons for Innsbruck, Lake Placid, Sarajevo, and Calgary were just tweaks of Ocher's famous Munich pictograms. In 1976, Montreal simply reused the old designs. But those striving for originality have generally failed. Some pictographic schemes have been anemic, while others look as though they're on the juice. The cave painting style of the Lillehammer 1994 pictograms may have had its charms, but the icons are spindly distractions rather than helpful signs. The smudge of Albertville 1992, the ugly blobs of Nagano 1998, is that a luge sled or a giant squid? And the overly articulated lines that made up the awkwardly nude icons of Atlanta 1996 do not fare much better. Sydney 2000, misguided. Salt Lake City 2002, goofy and robotic. And as for today, Vancouver's pictograms are stock illustrations that look too much like generic sports logos. The icons for London 2012 look as though a child did them. Primitive, perhaps, but not in a good way. In fact, since 1984, only 2 pictographic schemes leaped to the podium. The icons for Beijing 2008 nicely towed the line between unconventional and understandable. But the Athens 2004 pictograms, delightfully comic and smartly primitive, are a modern version of a frieze. Humorous and exquisitely functional, they are a welcome addition to the pantheon. For the New York Times, this is Stephen Heller.